Hi guys, this is Rashmika. So today we are going to cover one of the most interesting topic and easy topic called as a human nervous system. So in this video we are going to cover all about nervous system, that how the impulse is transmitted inside the nerves and even in the fluidic medium, or how the impulse is transmitted in a chemical form. So before that, we must know regarding the basic information about nerves. So nerves are one of the most longest cell. They are one of the most longest cell of the human body. So nerves are like branch-like structures. Branch-like structures which you might have read in class 9th. And there is lot more to know about nerves. So these are the cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for transmitting the signals in the animal body. So nerves help us to transmit the information, transmit any form of impulse. It helps to transmit any form of impulse from the external environment there into the body. Like spinal cord, brain and nerves are the main composition of the nervous system. So it's all about central nervous system, and it also consists of PNS and ANS. So this is all about the chapter control and coordination. CNS means central nervous system, PNS is peripheral nervous system, and ANS autonomous nervous system. So these three includes the nerves, but the second point, it just includes CNS. That CNS includes brain and spinal cord. So these both are important. Peripheral nervous system might also include, but it also includes, but the main point is of CNS. The cells of nervous system are also called as the neuron or the nerve cell. This we very well know. The nervous system is divided into two parts. It's divided into two parts: cell body and neurite. So this is basically a flowchart that how the impulse is transmitted in a nerve cell. So first the impulse, all the nerves, they are in contact with the skin. They are in contact with the sense organs. Basically, they are in contact with the sense organs. So whenever there is any change in the environment, so a message is created right in the environment. So impulse basically means the message which is produced in the environment. So that impulse is transmitted into, first it is transmitted into dendrite, because these dendrites are in contact with the receptors. The receptor cells, that is the receiver cells, are in contact with the receptors. Then from the dendrite, the information is transmitted to the cell body. Cell body is also known as cyton. So from the cell body, the information is transmitted to the axon pad, and then from the axon it is transmitted to a nerve ending. But after nerve ending, many other nerves are also there, so it doesn't stop. So in between there is a fluidic medium right here, and that medium is called as a synapse or synapse. So this is the basic flow chart or an idea how the impulse is transmitted. Then there are basically what all are the neurons that are linked together. So there are basically 3 types of neurons in the human body. The first is the sensory neurons or the sensory nerves. They carry impulse from the sense organs to the brain or the spinal cord, or it also sends the impulse to the spinal cord. So if ever we touch any hot object, then that hotness, that is basically an impulse is created right here. So that impulse is sent to either brain or the spinal cord through the sensory nerves. It sends the impulse to the brain. Like all the simple functions which can be performed by which can be easy, or they are sent to the spinal cord, and these concepts are all there in CNS, so no need to worry about this. Then the second nerve is the motor nerve. It brings the message from the brain to the sense organs. So when the impulse is sent to the brain, what it interprets it. It interprets, and then it creates a solution or an answer that what we need to do, and then that solution is sent to the sense organs, that is the effector organ. Sense organs are the effector organs. Sense organs are the effector organs. Then that impulse is sent to the effector organ, and then there we show some movement. And the third type and the last neuron is the relay neuron. It serves the both functions. It serves both the motor and association. It works for the both. Then the parts of nerves. So first comes dendrite. It is a thin hair-like structure. So from the cell body, branches arise that are called dendrites. So this is considered to be the definition. It picks up the signals and transmits the signal towards cytone. So dendrite are basically, they are in contact with the sense organs. They are in contact with the sense organs, right? And then it is thin and sharp hair-like structure. They're similar to the branch-like structure. So these are called as the dendrites. Then then it is followed by cell body. So it is having an irregular shape. It is broader part of the nerve cell. It consists of nucleus, mitochondria, cytoplasm, and many other cell organelles, and this is also known as cytone. So cell body consists of a fluid called as cytoplasm. It consists of nucleus and mitochondria. Then the next is axon. So the long branch-like structure is called as an axon. It is covered by a protective layer, and that layer is known as the myelin sheath. That layer is called as the myelin sheath. So it carries the signals away from the cytone and its elongated part. So it basically assume that this is the dendrite and the cell body. This part is basically called as the axon, and this is covered by a protective layer, and that layer is called as a myelin sheath. So basically, if the impulse is there right here, so this is transmitted in the form of a jumping form. It doesn't the impulse is transmitted in a jumping form, not in a straight line. So the nerves which are there with this covering, which are present with this myelin sheath, those nerves are called as the medulated nerves. And the nerves which don't have myelin sheath, they are called as the non-medulated nerves. So impulse is transmitted fastly in these medulated nerves because the impulse is transmitted in the form of a jumping manner. That's why. Then the final junction is the nerve ending. So axon leads to the nerve ending. Again, this is a branch-like structure. This is a branch-like structure. So how does it work? How the impulse is transmitted right from dendrite to the nerve ending and again to another nerve cell. So basically, this is the diagram that how it is transmitted. So these are the dendrites. So dendrites are in contact with the sense organ. As I said. So now the impulse enters, the impulse from the sense organs or the receptors. It enters into this dendrite, and then it travels to dendrite, and then it travels from the cell. It travels from the cell body, and then it reaches the axon. It reaches right here. So now it is a medulated neuron because it consists of the protective layer called as an myelin sheath. So the space between this space is called as node of Renwire. node of rimbi. So now the impulse is transmitted. It is transmitted in the form of a jumping manner. So then finally it reaches the nerve ending. So this is how the basic the flow of impulse inside a nerve. So here the basic information is given that the information from the receptors is acquired or it is gained by the dendrite part of the nerve, and then that impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body, or cell body is also known as cyton, and then it reaches to the axon, and the impulse is right in the nerve. It is transmitted in the form of electrical signals. They are passed to axons, and then the impulses, then it reaches the nerve endings. So here the impulse is transmitted electrical in the form of an electrical signals. But after nerve ending, a new nerve begins, so the dendrites are there. So this is the axon part. If you look axon under a microscope, it looks like a knob-like structure. This structure is called as a knob-like structure. So this is the axon part of the first neuron, and this is the dendrite part of the second neuron. So now the impulse reaches right here, right to the axon part. So now in this axon, calcium ion is secreted, and even the neurotransmitter, which is a chemical, this is also secreted. So this neurotransmitter, it combines with the impulse, and then it travels in this fluidic medium, which is called as the synapse. It travels in this fluidic medium, and then it reaches the dendrite part of the second neuron. And when it is received, this is the receiver. So when it is received by this dendrite, then they send back, they release something called as the anti-neurotransmitter. So anti-neurotransmitter, what is its function? Basically its function is that it tells to the axon that now we have received the message, so there is no need to secrete more neurotransmitter. So basically this is the overview that how the impulse is transmitted between an axon and a dendrite. So under a microscope, we see when we see the axon, it appears to be a knob-like structure. What is a knob-like structure? It's right given here. So knob-like structure means it appears to be something like this. It appears to be knob-like structure. So which contains the synaptic vesicles, which store all a chemical called the neurotransmitter. So this neurotransmitter it is secreted, or it is released by the synaptic vesicles. So there is a fluid called synapse, and this fluid is called as a synapse. So now the next is the dendrite of the other neuron. So basically this is the axon. This is the axon part, while this is the dendrite. Well, this is the dendrite part of the another neuron. So now here what happens that when the impulse reaches the axonal end, calcium ion is released from the neurolemma. So neurolemma, what is this neurolemma? The nerves are made up of neurolemma. So neurolemma, this stimulates the secretion. It is neurotransmitter. It is neurotransmitter from the vesicles into synapse. So what happens basically, the neurolemma, which is all this covering is called neurolemma. This neurolemma, it secretes something called as the neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter combines with the impulse, and then it travels in this fluidic medium, and finally it reaches to the dendrite part of the another neuron. So these synaptic fluid, it moves the neurotransmitter, also moves. Then as the impulse touches the dendrite, the receptors of another neuron, then they secrete, or they produce the anti-neuron transmitter, or you can call it as anti-neurotransmitter, which further stops the secretion of neurotransmitter. So this is how an impulse is traveled inside a neuron, and even between the neurons. So this was all about the nerve impulse transmission in human body. So here you have learned the nerve, which is basically in the CBSE. In CBSE we don't have neural lemma and calcium ions, all such stuff like that. But if you are an ICSE student, then you have neural lemma and calcium ion in detail. So that was all about the video. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe.